Are you willing to walk the line between discipline and action versus patience and compassion? Let me ask that one more time. So are you willing to walk the line between discipline and action versus patience and compassion? So this is our question for the week. And the reason I bring this particular question up is because many of us know that in reality, in order to achieve our health goals and our body and business goals, the only way to really do that is to remain committed and disciplined. We must be disciplined enough to remain consistent with the actions that we know we need to take in order to achieve our goals. That's cool. So that discipline and that commitment must actually be based on action. So a lot of us spend our time sort of getting overwhelmed in the thinking and the thoughts because there are so many different options out there when it comes to losing weight, for example, or for regulating blood sugar. Which diet is the best one to use? Which exercise program is the best one to use? How many hours of sleep should I get? Is it 6 or is it 9 or is it 12? Because there's so many conflicting narratives from each of the different experts and gurus out there that it makes it very difficult to actually pick one and stick with it. Because the moment your results slow down, or if they don't happen instantly, you think you've picked the wrong one, and therefore you change and go looking for the next shiny object or new thing that's obviously going to work in a week instead, because this particular one didn't work. So we end up getting caught in our head essentially and overcommitted to the thoughts and feelings wrapped up around what we need to do, rather than the actual act of taking action and moving towards our goals. So we must remain disciplined enough to not be distracted by all the shiny objects and committed to taking action in order to actually see the physical changes that we're after. So that's the first part. The second part is we must walk this line, as I say, between discipline and action versus patience and compassion. Now, I say patience and compassion because for many of us, results don't come instantly. They can do sometimes, but it doesn't always. Sometimes we've kind of slid so far off or our physiology, has slid so far off the point of balance that it takes a little bit longer for our body to kind of heal to the point where it can actually lose weight, or where it can effectively regulate blood sugar or cholesterol and these types of things. And unfortunately, it's not till we reach this point of balance that the body can actually heal itself enough to often see the physical or the aesthetic changes that we're after. You know, we want to look awesome, but if your physiology is out of whack, your body doesn't care what you look like. All it cares about is the fact that you're alive. So the body will always prioritize survival over aesthetics. So we must appreciate that fact, and instead of kind of trying to work against it and beat ourselves to death with overuse of exercise, or beat ourselves to death with starvation, gimmicks, fads, superfoods, and all these things that claim to be the miracle cure, what we need to do instead is go, okay, well, cool. I've kind of neglected my health and my body for a while. So what I perhaps need to do is instead heal myself internally so that my body can then reveal itself externally. And that can take a little bit of time sometimes, depending how far we've slid. For some of us, it might be a few weeks to get back to that point. For others, it might be a few months, and sometimes it can even be years. But most cases, if you take enough action and obviously kind of stop doing some of the things you know you shouldn't be doing and replace that with the things you know you perhaps should be doing, then things can actually change very quickly. But we have to be patient enough to see it through to the point of healing, as I say, because if we don't have that patience, we tend to just get frustrated, want to move on to the next thing. Or we tend to get angry and blame and shame ourselves quite often because we're not doing good enough. I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I must do this, I must do that. Rather than looking at things from a better perspective and being like, well, actually, no, I get to do this and I choose to do that. Rather than kind of getting stuck in this place of demanding and obligating yourself to do things. Instead, you want to stand in from a place of power and choose to do them. So that's why you must be patient and compassionate with yourself and understand that although these things are simple, it's not always easy. So that doesn't mean necessarily let yourself off the hook all the time if you make mistakes, but accept the fact that they do happen and that it's not about being perfect. You know, it's that cliche saying, we want progress, not perfection, but it's true. If you aim for perfection, you'll always fail because there's no such thing. So that's our question of the week. Are you willing to walk the line between discipline and action versus patience and compassion? Any questions? Drop them in the comments below. And if not, I shall see you next time, people. Take it easy.